Okay, so this part, by the way, you know, the record obviously has like guitars and synthesizers and basses and layers of things. This part I based a lot on, there's a Live at KXP version, which I'll link to in the description. And that's where this is basically a transcription of the guitar part from that. Okay, so standard tuning. The verse, the basic verse, and something you could just play for the verse, is just 12th fret on the low E, 7th fret on the low E, 2nd fret on the low E, 5th fret on the low E. You know, you could just play this. Right? There are some rhythmic variations, like in the beginning, it's that 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 kind of thing. And then sometimes it's more in that 8th note, sometimes it's just holding. And then there's a few other variations, like the one variation goes like 1, 12, 12, 7, and now it's going to go up to 9. 9, and then down to 2, and then to 5, and then 5, 4, open, right? So those are a couple couple variations you find in the beginning. In the second verse, it opens up into chords, and the chords become, so for the first one, which is 12th fret, so this is the E, right? Now all of a sudden it's open E, and then like you go into like an E power chord up at the 7th fret. So my first finger on the 7th fret of the A, my third finger on the 9th fret of the D, my pinky on the 9th fret of the G. And then the B can become this B major. You can play it as a B power chord at the beginning when it sort of slowly develops over that verse, but the full version is this major chord where my first finger is on the 7th fret of the low E, my second finger is on the 8th fret of the G, my third finger is on the 9th fret of the A, and my pinky's on the 9th fret of the D. So it's like, right? And then you could go for the next one, you could eventually play this chord, which we're going to see in a second when we talk about the chorus. Second finger on the 2nd fret of the low E, third finger on the 2nd fret of the D, pinky on the 2nd fret of the G, and open B. And then you can just lift up that second finger, keep these where they are, play open A, and then you're playing this A, so that's 2, which you can play instead of this 5th fret note. So in other words, so there's sort of a variation where you're like from this chord to this chord to this chord to this chord for the verse. The second verse, the first verse is just 2 times instrumental as an intro, and then 4 times as a verse. The second verse is 5 times total. It sort of, again, it sort of slowly builds into these chords. And then after the 5th time, it's like play an E, so it's like 5th time. Play a 7th fret, and now an A power chord. This is first finger on the 5th fret of the low E, third finger on the 7th fret of the A, pinky on the 7th fret of the D, and you're just gonna go boom, boom, and then move up 2 frets, and play that 3 times. That's the verse. Then the chorus. Okay, so the chorus. You're gonna play low E, and then third finger is here on the 9th fret of the D, and then your first finger is gonna play the 7th fret on the B, and then hammer on to the 9th fret of the B. So you play low E, then D, and then hammer on from 7 to 9 on the B. Right? Then move to this. Move that pinky to the 7th fret on the G, and then have it give away to the second finger on the 8th fret of the G, and then bring the rest of this chord down. So now my first finger moves to the 7th fret of the low E, my third finger comes down on the 9th fret of the A, so, and then I can just pick E, A, and then same little move, but now I have this first finger bar. So this first finger bar is playing the 7th fret on the B, but still the pinky is going to hammer on the 9th fret. And then I play it twice, and then play that G string again, and now into this chord. So now my pinky grabs this 9th fret on the, pinky grabs the 9th fret on the G, third finger comes down to the 9th fret on the A, and first finger becomes a bar of the D, the G, and the B, and then I go A, D, G, B, G, and then I move into this crazy chord, first finger barring the 9th fret of the G and the B, third finger playing the 11th fret on the A, and pinky playing the 12th fret on the E, on the A, third finger playing the 11th fret on the D, and pinky playing the 12th fret on the A, and same kind of picking pattern, A, D, G, pick it. I like to pick it thumb, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, thumb, index, middle, index, right? this, I'm gonna grab that note, grab that 9th fret on the D, which is gonna bring me back to the E. So I'm like, right here, 9th fret on the D, and then boom. Make sense? So it's basically just that. You can do that 4 times and have that be the chorus. There's again a little variation, which is really nice, which is it goes this time, the 3rd time. Now, instead of my pinky grabbing the 9th fret on the G, I play open E, and I use the time that playing open allows me to jump down here, now into this chord again. 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the low E, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the D, pinky on the 2nd fret of the G, and just pick E, D, G, B, G, and then pick up that 2nd finger and replace it with the A, D, G, B, G, and then you can resolve that to and jump back up. And then just one more time of this. Make some sense? There'll be a whole tab available at my Patreon. And then the second chorus sort of does like an extra time of the progression, and then just sort of ends with that A sus 2 and the E. Okay, let me know any questions, comments, suggestions, requests. And again, yeah, there'll be a tab available on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.